Some of you who've watched some of my older videos will recognize this. This is my homemade bench grinder. It's an old roto-zip tool, and I made a mount for it that goes on a regular old tool holder. Plops right down in my Dorian Toolpost, which is an Aloris style AXA. That's actually worked pretty well, and I would be using it right now for this project I have. This is eventually going to be my half-inch mandrel to mount my blanks on, and it's going to be used both in the lathe and on the dividing head and tailstock on the mill for when I actually cut the gears. So I want it to be as repeatable as possible. I want these centers are going to be my reference points, and I'm going to use the bench dogs to drive it. And the problem I've had is my center is just not perfect in my lathe, probably not in any of my tools. So each time you mount a center in the spindle, unless you get it exactly the way you had it before, the center is not going to be where it was before. So to try to get repeatability, you can try to reform the center each time you mount it, and then you know it's going to be, dead center, bump. And the problem, so that's what, like, I've watched Keith Fenner say, that's what he does every single time he mounts his center in his lathe, is he touches it up. And that's cool. It doesn't work very well with, I don't know if this has been work hardened or what, but I mean, you can see it does not like when I try to machine this thing, so I'm going to grind it. And so normally what I would use would be this guy, but I have a new tool that I'm going to unveil here, and we'll give it a try this time. So about a year ago, this popped up on eBay. It's a very small Toolpost grinder. And the disc is chipped, that's too bad. This is way smaller than what you normally see. This may be the smallest one that Dumore made. It's an 8013R, and I looked it up, and to me, it actually seems like this is the appropriate size for a little lathe like mine. I know some people will say, no, you need a big old grinder, but I don't know. To me, as I said, this seems about right. I have to figure out how it's supposed to mount, and that'll be what I do today. Try to get this guy working on my lathe. A bunch of little wheels and so forth. Damn it. Nope, no damage. Good. Extra leather belt. Looks like it's been replaced with a rubber belt. Oster Manufacturing Company. Just a bag somebody had laying around, obviously. Alright, so you can see this was mounted to somebody's tool post. Somebody had a bigger machine than mine. This is the size that goes into my machine. Something like that. So yeah. Meantime, I believe that this is meant to go like so. Makes sense, right? On off switch. Stone attached there. Oil hole. Just can't quite figure out how this would attach without another one of these somewhere to dress the stones. I'll play around with it, but I have to make myself a new one of these. Actually, it looks like the old one's welded in, so that's something I'm gonna have to undo to make my new one. A little bit late to turn on the camera, but I just want to show I bought a set of these Silver and Deming Harbor Freight drills. I've got a nice old set of drills going up to 1/2 inch, several sets actually, and this shaft to secure the tool post grinder is a 5/8 11, which calls for a 5/8 11 calls for a 17/32. That's what I meant to say. And I don't have that. I do have a 9/16, which is 1/32 over. So this is a piece of scrap. I'm going to go ahead and try drilling it out and seeing. I do have the tap for 5/8 11. So I'm going to see how well it works with 9/16 instead of the proper size bit. It'll take me a while to get the proper size bit. Anyway, in the meantime, I just want to show how well these work right out of the box. I haven't sharpened this or anything, and it was kicking butt. Try not to get these crazy chips going all over the place. Come on. There we go. Anyway, pretty good for a you get a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, 8 bits going from this 9/16 on up through 1 inch. And they normally run about $40, and of course, you can always get the 20% off discount, so pretty good deal, I think. Okay, so what you can see down in there, there's some very shallow threads actually. So that's the difference between using the 9/16 bit that I used versus a 32nd down. The 17/32 is what I was supposed to use. So I'm glad I tried it on scrap. I don't know, because I've already cut myself one of these nuts that's the right size. I'm just not sure. If I wait a little while, I'll be able to get the correct size bit. Maybe that's what I should do. I mean, I don't know, that's never going to come out. Part of me wants to go ahead and weld it in anyway, in which case I would never have to worry about it. I think I'll wait. I'll go ahead and get the right bit to do the actual nut that I'm going to make. Or what I could do is just trim this one down to size so that it'll work for right now, and then save the other one, which is slightly better, I think. I think that's what I'll do. Let's just trim this guy down and use it so I can keep on playing. I'll make the other one right later. Well, that's how she looks sitting on there. And I want to point out something. It's almost dead on center line already. I don't know how much adjusting I'm going to have to do. A little bit. So it kind of confirms what I was saying earlier, that this seems like the right size for this lathe, or for these, home shop lathes. Alright, this stud is way too long, and it interferes if I try to use some of the shims and things that came with this. So what I'm going to do for right now, I got this threaded rod. It's one of my scrapyard finds. I have about 10 pieces of it that I picked up with some nuts and things, because it's a good size for using actually with the mill for hold downs. So anyway, for right now, just fooling around, I'm going to go ahead and cut this, find out where I should cut it off, mark it, and just cut it down and use it for right now. And when I get it right, I'll find a bolt or something, because I do want the smooth section that'll be actually contacting the inner sleeve here. I don't want a threaded rod in there. I want a regular basis. So we'll do something like this. And it does look like it's going to need like the bolt doesn't rest right on here. Can you see that? Yeah, so I'll have to make some kind of washer. Yeah, a lot of little interesting fitments I got to do here. But it'll turn out. Alright, for the most part she is fit on there. I have to do some centering work, but I've got a tool post for it. That'll work for right now. And I have noticed that I got a bent, something's bent here. I don't know where this attaches, whether the spindle itself is bent or just this long attachment here is bent, but I'll have to figure that out. And for right now, I just want to crank it up and see how it sounds. Some oil down in there. And here we go. Doesn't sound too bad. Alright. See how this all fits together here, and see what kind of center I could put on here to match to the center here, and keep playing. Well, bad news. I got this shop-made extension off, and you can still see the deflection in there. The bend is in this spindle itself, it's not in this thing. So that's upsetting. And that's the danger of eBay right there. I didn't pay a ton of money for this thing. And I do own a lathe, so chances are I could make another one of these little spindles. I need to get myself or make myself a little pin wrench to pop these end caps off. That's the way it comes out. Question is, do I want to go down this rabbit hole right now, or do I want to get back on my gear project? And I'm thinking I want to get back on my gear project, so I can use my own home-built tool post grinder for right now and just come back to this down the road. I'm tempted to try just tapping on it. Get my dial indicator out here, put it on it, mark the high spot, tap, tap, tap. Might do that. Yeah, the way they designed this thing, it's very difficult to get this on and off. Alright, I engaged in a little bit of redneck brutality here. It's probably best you didn't watch. It involved using this. Got it less than 1,000 now. I'll do with that. Well, I don't know if it's my imagination, but I think it's even running quieter now that it's balanced. What do you think? Alright, so using the best metrology available to me, can you see that? I see that. Now, since this is a 12-inch lathe, where do you expect that to be? Pretty much dead on the 6. Which is where it's at. It might be... Let's zoom in even closer and get the lighting better. Now that sucker is dead on the 6. Which makes me happy, because I always wonder about the wear and whatnot, and I don't doubt that this would change if I move forward a little bit. But that sucker is dead on the 6, which I'm very happy to see. Alright. Now, compare that to what I read. And there was some eyeballing involved here. That tool post centered at 6 1/4, looks like. So it looks to me like I need to reduce the spacer I'll show you over here. That's the spacer. So I think if I took a 1/4 inch off of that, then this tool post would be centered. What do you think? I'm pretty near dead center now, perhaps a little under, but I can work with that. Not plugged. Alright, cool. So this is what today's exercise was really all about. You can see we've got about 3 thousandths run out. So we're going to fix that. I've tried doing it with, tooling, and I end up not satisfied. So I'm going to grind it. I went ahead and machined a flat. To accept the drive dog. Okay, my moment of truth. Should be 2 to 3 thousandths over across the whole length and finish with a file. That's the idea. Whoa, 500 thousandths on the nose. I got a little aggressive. 501. $502. Yeah. Call it 1.5. 501. $500,000 dead nuts back here. Yeah. Because of my bedware, I tend to have thousands between here and here, 1 or 2 thousands. Alright, so I'm already there here, and I got thousands to go up in here. So I'll hit it with a file, come back and check again, and we're almost there. Then I need to put threads in here, and then I'll just about have an arbor. I had to leave it a little rough up here because I was going to go under if I got rid of the little micro threads. Okay, so it's really just the end. It's just this end here. He's come down a little bit. That's all. Good. Alright, so after some file work, this is what we got. Pretty good. And I made a series of sleeves earlier. Probably make some, cut this big one down to some different lengths once I figure out, you know, what exactly I want. The idea is I could do this, I could gang them up. And if that seems like a good idea, I could put all 4 of my blanks on here and then cut the gears across. That would be, or maybe 2 at a time. I don't know. If I did all 4, I'd be taking a leap of faith that I got it right. But that's kind of the idea there, something like that. Just got to thread the end. Alright, so here's the idea. So this isn't completely concentric, but that's okay. I wasn't really careful about how well I centered it when I bored out the center there, because I knew I'd be taking a good portion of this off. So that doesn't surprise me. There's some wobble there. Also, I can't trust this collet for dead center. So I mean, that's why I went through all the trouble of making a dead center that was completely concentric with the spindle and all that, because that's how I'll end up mounting this to do work. But that gives you the idea. That's my spindle or arbor that I can use both on the lathe and with the dividing head.